And Viego, take a seat.
Yeah, Viego's not available here any longer. That Diana's still there for first pick if 100 Thieves want it, but they still have about 10 more seconds to decide how they want to shape this draft here. Abbeddage and Closer have been popping off pretty hard for this squad in their best looking moments. Ssumday, of course, always a staple in the top lane too. So they'll lock in that Diana here, and we're assuming this is Closers.
We've had a lot of good Diana plays, Closer, Spica. We'd have had very big Wombo combos. I'm always looking for other large AoE champions that excel with grouping your opponents up. Definitely some super fun ones out there. Mostly the attack damage ones are the ones that are getting big play because you do want Diana to be facing teams that aren't going to be stacking a lot of magic resistance. Ziggs continues to reign supreme, though, as far as the priority on the bottom side of the map, as long as Kalista is banned out. I want to see if this priority, this kind of blind allegiance to the Ziggs church continues, Flowers. I want to see some Draven lock in, okay? Because Draven is one that will punk Ziggs out of that lane. You just walk up,
just start smacking them with the axe.
It's a very similar strategy to most of the opportunities to pick Draven. You pick an aggressive support
and start hitting him.
And you play aggro in lane, you punish him, you don't let Ziggs even get close to your tower. Draven's very decent matchup into it, and I've seen it used already in the LPL. So hoping that we get some more, AD carries willing to dip into those more specific counter picks.
Okay, well, we've got the Lee Sin locked in next to the Ziggs. And with Aphelios picked up here for 100 Thieves, I am expecting them to pick a defensive support. Hovering over the Braum here, we know Thresh is also very commonly chosen next to Aphelios, but no, they're going to leave the support open for the second half of the draft, also the second half of the bans, and lock in the Lucian instead.
Okay, so we're expecting, attack damage, so Linus from 100 Thieves. It's not anything with structure here. The Lucian does push and Diana wants to farm, so it actually changes your Lucian lane a little bit, where in the early stages you don't play it as aggressively as sometimes when you play these Lucian matchups. Also, it is into possible flex picks here from Dig, so basically blind Lucian matchup here for Abbeddage without a super early ganking jungler, and it's into a Lee Sin, which is going to have a lot more flexibility than the Diana early on.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see if Akaadian can make his presence felt, because looking at just the two players, not even the two champions, Akaadian has invested heavily in his time in Dignitas in early ganks, sacrificing camps. He's very willing to go level 3, skipping Raptors, skipping Krugs, going for the level 3 ganks for the influence on those laning matchups. And this is definitely a champion where he can do similar things.
Well, we've got two supports banned out here from Dignitas in the second half of the draft. The Braum that was hovered earlier, as well as that Leona. And you talked a lot in the first game of the day about how effective Leona and Diana are as a duo once you get into the part of the game where they can roam around together. So makes sense for both of those bans to come out, as well as we're seeing the Nocturne banned away here by 100 Thieves. One more ban to go from them. Do they want to continue to try to target similar champions? Do they want to switch it up? Yes, the LeBlanc will be the final ban of the draft.
Yeah, LeBlanc definitely can be difficult to deal with, especially if you don't have point and click CC on your team. One of the biggest and most annoying things is if you get to mid stages of the game, especially if LeBlanc had a good early game, and you don't have a stun, the poke that comes from distortion in, and especially with the Cosmic Drive build from LeBlanc's, where their cooldown reduction becomes very, very annoying. You're just constantly getting harasser without possible answers. So taking off this possibility there from Yusui. Meanwhile, they're going to keep Yusui's pick shrouded in mystery, even with the Lucian already showing. They want full commitment from 100 Thieves that it will be a mid lane Lucian, not a top lane Lucian. And they just blind pick the Gnar instead for FakeGod first. Just saying, you know what, Ssumday, whatever. FakeGod has had his time. He's grown past this rivalry. Ssumday is the one who deposed him from the starting top lane spot, and he was always, playing academy to him, playing under. Oh, is it going to be top lane, top Kench for it?
Kench!
Let's go!
He's not. I'm hoping to see him in the top lane.
It's got to be top lane. So I have jungled it. It is definitely not jungleable because the AoE is not there. Support is doable. But
it's not the defensive option it used to be.
Yeah,
right?
come on, play it top.
This is
the ultimate.
Not the Devour that is able to save an ally like Aphelios. Instead, that laning phase will be much more vulnerable. It is a support Tahm Kench. It is the reworked Tahm Kench. He is not a third summoner spell any longer.
Yeah.
We'll see how this works, but it will be Mundo there in the top lane for Ssumday.
So fourth lane is just a bit more aggressive lane because Tahm Kench, you want to super aggressively using your Q, your tongue lash, and you do have options for really good jungle setup. So what the support Tahm Kench can give you is, especially if you get brush control, slide into those brush, cast your W. It's very difficult, especially without any extra move speed or dash abilities to get away from a W after it's cast if it's not in vision. If it's in vision, super easy to avoid, but definitely doable the other way around.
But we got Kayn! It's Kayn over on the side of Dignitas here for Akaadian, which means Yusui will actually be the pilot here of the Lucian in mid. So entirely physical damage top half of the map for Dignitas, which will make the itemization of champions like Tahm Kench and Mundo easier. So, or not Tahm Kench and Mundo. Well, both of them technically, but Tahm Kench isn't going to be up there this early on.
I'm expecting actually a red Kayn transformation. It was buffed back up. Previously, we had a long stretch where it was only blue Kayns, but the blue Kayn.
Blues are Kayn.
Blue Kayn is still open, open for choice here for Akaadian. But I actually think this would probably be a good red Kayn form. We'll see early on, depending on which lane he ganks. If he's going for the Lucian, for the Aphelios, get your blue orbs. Then he'll easily be able to go into that one. Plus, we can also get indication by your rune choice if he's Conqueror.
Yeah, Conqueror pretty much always means the red one historically.
Yeah.
But we did see the popularization of sort of like the hybrid type feel there for a while with the blue Kayn that would build a Gore Drinker just because of how effective it was at adding on to his burst. And Gore Drinker Muramana was the souse there for quite a while. But let's see how Akaadian's going to play. It does have the Conqueror here.
All right.
So we are expecting a build that favors those extended fights instead of the one-shots. But remember, we need to see an early and active Akaadian. If you get to the 15-minute mark and Kayn's still sitting there with almost no orbs unevolved, congratulations, you've got 4.5 champions on your team.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad one. We've had some super long transformation times in the LCS that had very poor results. Attempt at the level 1 brush trekking here. I like that with the setup that they have, Nautilus as well as Ziggs.
Ooh.
Those walls, man, those things just jump out at you.
Yeah, just show up out of nowhere, but
thicker than they used to be, Flowers. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, not on the back in my day. The Rift looked all different. We didn't even have all this stuff on it.
It's funny because actually back in my day, before they reworked the visual for Summoner's Rift, it literally looked different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was playing back then too. It looked all memey and half the characters had pizza feet.
We are dating ourselves. The boomer cast up here.
We're booming, buddy. We're booming. But remember that if you want to learn how to play some League of Legends a little bit better than you currently do, you can check out our free ProView matchup for this game in the support role. You can check out Huhi playing that reworked Tahm Kench up against Aphromoo's Nautilus and see how to become the playmaker we all know you can be. Now, Dignitas will be starting their jungler off here in the bottom side with a leash, while 100 Thieves will be doing the same thing on the other side of the map.
Yeah, only difference is the deep ward on Raptors. This is other common side start for Kayn. You don't have to get Alicia's Kayn.
Right.
Kayn can always, because of the clearing power of Q, just start his own Raptors, no problem. Do red side over towards blue quadrant, but does get the leash from bottom side because guess what? Ziggs Nautilus, level 1. They're just going to let the Aphelios TK push anyway. As we said, Tahm Kench after their rework, you do not have basic ability to devour. That is the main thing to hammer home, but you do have very aggressive options for bottom side with the Q and the possible damage output versus melee supports. Tahm Kench, you have to be very fearful of it, and that usually allows TK to get bottom lane brush control if you're not against, range champions. And then you can look for opportunities with your W to set up your jungler for ganks, but that's further down the road. As of right now, it is Aphelios, and by nature of starting out always with your sniper gun makes it quite easy to get control of quite a few lanes early on.
Well, Neo and Aphromoo will be fine just sitting back here a little bit for now. Akaadian has gone for the full clear through his jungle, as you often see Kayn do, and it means that he didn't move into the Wraith pit before the ward expired. So they did not actually see him go in there, so they don't have 100% knowledge on where he is at, but of course it is easy to assume.
Yeah, you go process of elimination. Well, he didn't start up on his red quadrant, and I cleared my blue quadrant. I'm currently in my own red.
Where could he be?
Where did he go?
He likes to power farm. Anyway, Huhi's going into the bottom lane, gets the knock up onto both enemy players. 100 Thieves win that trade pretty decisively, and FBI's not even done yet. Nicely done here.
It's actually one of the funniest abilities to watch now that he does it all the time too, and you see the channel from Tahm Kench.
Jump and bop.
Surprise! There's a catfish under you.
It's such a fun animation. That's the one thing I wish about Tahm Kench is that he was a champion. I wish he was a melee carry because his crit animation is he slaps out his tongue and bonks you over the head with. It's a downward tongue chop.
Orbs.
But right now, Akaadian's going in for some orbs, for some damage. Abbeddage has to flash to stay alive.
That is some good value for the Kayn time. Full clear up through top side, pass through mid, get a bunch of orbs for yourselves. These ones are blue, but also chunks out. Abbeddage gets the flash, was critical for this Lucian. Remember from Champs, like we said, if you're drafting the Diana with your Lucian has to play a little bit differently for your early lane phase here. And now without flash and without teleport, Abbeddage much more cautious on this Lucian. Very wary when going for some of these aggressive trades onto Yusui. The big advantage, though, of course, with the teleport, he got his back, so got his purchase in. Cull double longsword start from him. He was chipping away at his Cull very early on with that start, so it's already all the way down to 70.
And he does have a nice little modest farm lead over his opponent. Yusui's doing a pretty good job keeping it close here.
Yeah, and a big reason for that buy, kind of like we expected with the jungle discrepancy for, possible early moves. Guess what? He's not going to play super aggressively, try and kill you, so he's going to get out his little advantage that way by purchasing the Cull because he's sacrificing some defense for the all-in, but not a tremendous worry for him.
If you're playing Lucian, you need to get something extra out of the laning phase, right? You'd want it to be the ability to play aggressive and zone your opponent away, but if you can't get that because of the jungle, hey, at least Cull is going to pay you that extra 450 gold once you farm it off. But 100 Thieves going for a play down here in the bottom lane. That was not the play that they were looking for. FBI with a heal, but the teleport in from FakeGod means that 100 Thieves lose their AD carry, and the support's now in a bad spot too. A good flash gets Huhi away, and FakeGod's not able to find the punish. But now, just a massive error from Closer makes him lose his own flash, getting caught there for no reason.
That right there, FakeGod covering on bottom side, puts a stop to all these 100 Thieves' dreams of glory. 100 Thieves riding so much off this dominant bottom lane of FBI and Huhi, but the dive set up. Good answered teleport there from FakeGod. Gets the counter kill, first blood cash in, and by virtue of landing that hook, Aphromoo even gets the extra summoner spell out of Closer. Diana isn't going to be able to make the first big flash play, which is what you love to do once you get access to your ultimate. Here's another look at starting out that dive. Huhi took a tower aggro really early with the tongue lash, and so flashing out there as well after getting exhausted for FBI, still gets slowed down by the boomerang, and they're back at it.
Oh, but we're not done. And Closer, remember, he's got no flash, so it's an easy pick here for Dignitas. Neo grabbing that kill, his first one of the game. Dignitas is second. Enemy jungler's dead. It's time for Drake.
Dude, this is like a murder mystery, Flowers. We come back out of a replay. What is going on my screen? How did he get there? Who did that? Well, Dignitas did it with
Neo with the bomb in the river.
But the real question of the mystery is, why is Closer in there? Well, where's the rest of the team? What gave him authority to walk into the Dignitas jungle? Well, guess what? Nobody did, so they take him down and take the dragon.
I mean, we've asked that question. What is Closer doing there in the same spot in the bottom river twice in 1 minute? So clearly this area not doing him any favors right about now.
Gonna put a patent on that?
Yeah, we're going to need to unless he cleans up his act here a little bit. So Dignitas getting themselves a good early lead up here in the top lane. Farm is even between the two. Of course, we know Mundo will scale into a hyper tank as the game moves forward, and he's already at the point where he's feeling all right, just farming up underneath the turret, despite the ranged harass of FakeGod. And you can see there, comment on Mundo makes his trading that much more effective, just landing the single cleavers and getting the bonus damage.
Yeah. Mundo's laning became a lot more robust with the changes, not just relying on cleaver and moving up for auto attacks. The new E swiping minions through on death feels so good, gives him a lot more choice with how he wants to play lanes. So Ssumday taking advantage of that there. We always like to revisit, you know, when you've got FakeGod versus Ssumday, both of them kind of under the same organization for a long time with 100 Thieves. How he gets to play it now, as FakeGod has really come into his own on Dignitas, and it was a big part of Dignitas' surge up to the top. Yeah, they had other roster moves since then that have made things a bit shaky, but FakeGod definitely earning himself his starting spot in the LCS.
I mean, yeah, it was his teleport into the bottom lane that really made that first play for the first blood succeed like it did. Yusui, now with a flash kick, guarantees they're going to get another kill here in mid. Despite the fact that Huhi and Closer show up, they're both too late.
That flash, look at him, look at right now. It just came off a couple seconds away. Abbeddage didn't have anything to get away from that, so very good timing and execution from Dignitas. Yusui goes in, guess what? Kick flash, you're dead. And that's also gonna be an objective picked up. Dignitas, first dragon, first 3 kills of the game, and during the replay, will be first Rift Herald. Kick flash, this is a ward hop, really nicely done there by Yusui, right up into him. And Akaadian is there again to cash in on some orbs on top of the assist. You get huge cash payout here from the Rift Trail plus top scuttle grab. This is just looking like a dream start for a Kayn game, at least from jungle perspective, Captain Flowers.
Yep, he's stacking up the tier. He'll be working towards the Muramana. You can see the Iron Spike whip in the inventory going towards that Gore Drinker I'm talking about. So what we expected to see here from this champion.
Only caveat is that since you're repeat ganking on the Lucian, you're getting blue orbs from range champion damage.
True.
So we'll want to invest in taking down Tahm Kench, maybe scrap a Closer there. Hey, next time Closer's out in the river, make sure Akaadian gets at least a hit on him.
Just bop him one time there real quick.
Just one quick touch. Closer does have his flash now, though, so the Diana, as we talked about, with flash ultimate available, you can make some really big plays for the team. And especially if you make that around Aphelios, the combination there, I really do like, especially if he's got Infernum, to be able to burst down some of these duels.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the 200 years Infernum on the Champions release. It was just like, hey, you don't have a team anymore, but it's still very strong.
Exactly. I said the same setup last week, and Freak had the same response of you. Like, oh, yeah, you know, it's not the same, got nerfed. And then we still saw it on screen. I was like, you know what? It's still got some kick to it.
Yeah. It's still pretty strong.
Especially if he goes into the lethality, lean into it a little bit there. Has some oomph.
Of course, their opponent's side is a little bit tankier, so less vulnerable to those pure lethality builds than what they might otherwise be, right? Like, it's easy for both the Gnar and the Nautilus to itemize some armor. Lucian can be the same way, so.
I can hear you. Every AD carry and every AD solo laner I ever have is like, this guy got cloth armor early! Steel caps! What a little baby. Come on, armor!
That's sometimes how she goes, though. You just got to be able to outplay the defensive stats. 40 seconds here until our second Drake of the game spawns. Dignitas have that first one for themselves. Despite the fact that Dig have 3 kills compared to nothing, 100 Thieves' farm and the couple of plates that they've got in mid and bottom have kept this game very close. Ssumday now chasing after FakeGod, looking for even more here. But with Akaadian roaming up to the top side, they won't continue any further.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a deeper invade since they already have the deep ward up by blue. It's scouted out by this control ward, but with the Rift Herald, this is a strong power play. Tahm Kench can get there with the W, so Huhi's roam timer as support, definitely matching Aphromoo here, definitely providing that extra Tahm Kench defense that you're looking for, even after the rework. Thus far, it has played out very similarly to previous iterations of the champion.
And FakeGod will just continue shoving the wave. Ssumday is pretty much perpetually stuck underneath this turret here as Gnar has priority over that wave. You can see that Dignitas has multiple men here in the mid lane getting this wave shoved out now as well. The dragon has spawned. Nobody's down there just yet, but it will be Dignitas here with the first rotation. 1 ward placed in the river there by the side of 100 Thieves. That one's going to see what's going on, but it doesn't look like they have the manpower nearby to do much about it. So 2-0 Drake lead for Dignitas.
Keep on stacking all the neutral objectives. Rift Herald plus 2 dragons plus all 3 kills, and it looks fairly calm too. You know, the couple plays towards mid lane that they did that were the really momentous ones were very efficient. No time wasted. You know, Yusui, immediate ward hop in, kick flashes Abbeddage it back. You know, they get the one there. This Rift Herald immediately used. You're approaching 13 minutes, so if you are looking at wanting to get a reset, you don't want to be hard-pressed for time later on, getting right back out. Oh, we got to use the Rift Herald before these turret plates drop. You know, 14 minutes is approaching quickly. So just cash in there quickly. Yeah, it's not the biggest, you know, exchange, but does get the expected value of the extra turret plates for them and chip out on mid.
Yep, the plating will soon fall, as you heard the announcer say. The gold is dead even here. Dignitas, having been making the plays so far, we want to see them continue to do that, as we're just about into the mid game here. Neo teleporting back down into bottom lane, using the power of that extra TP. You talked about it a little bit in the previous game, how this is something especially to consider as we get later and later. Dignitas will have that extra macro advantage, that extra ability to position someone somewhere else besides the main stage of action.
And especially since it is Ziggs who can teleport in, instantly wave clear, plus throw his ultimate, instantly wave clear. It gives you a lot of control towards the mid stages of the game where teams are trying to make these macro decisions based on pushing waves, rotating over for tower conversions to be able to cash in on that standing gold on the map. And Ziggs really does give you that extra lever to pull, as you know, you can answer other minion waves that, unless you have GP or something on your team, you don't really get access to that other branch of a decision tree.
Yep. Well, back here in bottom lane, 100 Thieves are bringing Closer down. We'll see if there's a play to be made. Huhi's going to find himself on a control ward here, so they'll clear that one out of the way, as Closer will also be spotted by that right before it is taken out of the picture. Dignitas are building that gold lead up here a little bit further as FakeGod continues to maintain pressure here in the top lane against his opponent, but it's actually Ssumday who has the farm lead in this 1v1 matchup. Chains of Anathema as his first item. Worth pointing out, this is very good in the 1v1, but if you find yourself in a team fight, remember you've only got one person marked. Abbeddage could be in a bad spot. Yusui jumps in. Closer's ready there for backup, so they won't go any further.
Yeah, and I like to point out, especially because Mundo is the champion that rushes this, because Mundo scales so well with health, and it builds straight out of health, so feels quite nice to get into, especially since top lane is so isolated. When you first complete it, you just put it on the Gnar, because that's his opponent. That's the guy you're playing island. This is the 1v1. But you do get to transfer it later to biggest threat on the opponent team. And it takes, yes, a minute to stack up the passive, as you'll gain power slowly as each stack is acquired. But you don't get to immediately switch it as you transition into team fight. So you have to take a little bit of forethought as you're going to transition out of 1v1 scenarios and towards the team play.
Well, Dignitas are going for the second Rift Herald here. Doesn't look like there'll be much of a contest from the side of 100 Thieves. Ssumday is over the wall. He'll throw out a cleaver, but other than that, not a whole lot to be spoken of. So Rift Herald number 2 going over to Dig.
In exchange for Aphelios pushing on bottom side, there goes Ziggs' ultimate. Doesn't quite finish them all off. Decent amount of damage still done by FBI, but will ensure that he's going to have to wait for more minion waves, and gives you a little bit of a timing advantage here for Dig as you finish up with yet another neutral objective into tower kill for themselves. That is first turret bonus on top of it, Flowers. The check mark of the list of objectives has been all yellow, all Dignitas.
Okay, Yusui's going in after Huhi here. Akaadian right behind him. They're finding some nice damage, but Closer wants to turn it around. Yusui going back, looking to turn onto him, while Aphromoo is able to tank up here in the 2v2 on the other side. Yusui and Akaadian grabbing the first kill. The second one going back over to Neo. It is a double kill, make it 3 dead on the side of 100 Thieves. Ssumday gets away, Akaadian goes in. He's taking a lot of aggro now. He's got to get himself all the way out. Will he be able to make it? Yes, he will. Culling comes through, and it's tanked back and forth by Aphro and FakeGod. Dignitas made it happen.
And he lives. Akaadian gets the dream scenario. Bunch of red orbs whacking down Closer. He gets the extra kill for the team. That's 3 in the hands of Neo. Bounty on his head now on top of it. Dignitas are just running 100 Thieves into the ground here, Flowers. What is happening today? Every team with a better record getting upset thus far. We have also had surprise endings, though, so maybe 100 Thieves seen this, and they're waiting for the big counterplay.
Well, let's take another look at how they found this play. It looked like they were trying to bench the Kench, but then Closer said no.
Yeah, all right, okay, so Closer ults in, immediate ultimate there from Akaadian to avoid the damage, because Diana ultimate is very easy to avoid. The suck in is the first part, so Akaadian just uses the ultimate of his own to jump inside here, doesn't get hit with the damage, they chase her down. Rest of Team Dignitas all commit to this, by the way. It's the full commitment with the teleport in, so they pick off the extra kill there on Aphelios on the opposite side while the two members are diving, and now it's onto the Dragon.
Okay, Dignitas want to contest this one. Aphelios ulti coming down. Akaadian is low on HP. Ssumday still in the pit providing threat. FBI with a ton of chakrams ready to go, but the Dragon's going over to Dig and Akaadian. FakeGod wants to get away now. Aphromoo has already died. It is Drake for one. Dignitas are happy with this trade, but how else can 100 Thieves respond? They'll continue chasing them away, but Dig are able to disengage this one. You'd still call that a win here for this team.
Yeah, gets them 2 soul point at only 18:48 into the game. Definitely a very quick pace for them. Some gold given back over 200 Thieves, picking up a little bit for themselves, though, taking down Aphromoo.
And I do want to point out, we see Akaadian transformed into the blue form. This is what I'm talking about, the blue transformation with bruiser-type items, the Blueser Kayn. Yeah. Goes Conqueror, goes Gore Drinker, but has the blue evolution for greater mobility, and we'll see how hard he's able to pop off in these team fights with this.
And it's also, too, I feel like you'll just never want to wait around for the extended time for transforming. So especially in a lot of these ones where you are getting blue orbs, play right into it. It's got a cool nickname. You know, it's been finding success already, so get right in there. And it still does a lot of the damage. You don't have to go with the full commitment to squishy lethality because you bank on your later transformation of the Muramana. This adds so much damage to your spells.
Oh, yeah.
So you are both tanky to your point with the healing of your Gore Drinker and your Conqueror stacking up. You know, you have the support there for not getting insta-gibbed if you make a little error. You have some room, and you still have a large amount of damage output because of Muramana once you get that thing transformed.
And he's getting close, right? He's about 63 of that mana away there, so not too much longer, and that'll be up and running. Also, already having the Gore Drinker completed, plus those Ionian Boots of Lucidity makes it very easy for him to start pumping that ability haste, make those spells come out that much more quickly. Down here in the bottom lane, FakeGod just continuing to farm up on the Gnar, making sure that he'll be ready here in these team fights to make the big plays that have brought Dignitas their advantage so far. The whole squad is ready to go, ready to engage, ready to team fight.
Is Abbeddage ready?
Abbeddage trying to get away here. Akaadian drops the blue smite. That'll let him be able to ulti in. Follows it up with a little bit more damage and say hello to Big Ben. FakeGod just chucks it at him to pick up the kill.
Yeah, look at that. Damage fine. Gore Drinker doesn't matter. Lethality, Mythic doesn't matter. Boom. They take him down. So FakeGod throwing a house there at him for extra good measure, and Abbeddage is down. Dignitas just don't miss here, Captain Flowers. The only kill that they gave up in this game was sacrificing their support for getting to soul point.
Yeah,
everything else. Trade. Yeah, everything else has just been Dignitas all day.
Dignitas looking really good, but hey, it's like you said, based on the first 2 games, this is where Dignitas has to be careful.
And then M. Night Shyamalan is directing today for LCS.
All right, as long as it's better than Signs. I hated Signs. I thought that movie was terrible. One of the worst movies
I wasn't
I've ever
a fan of The Village either. You know.
Yeah, The Village also sucked. I thought that one was really bad. I remember watching The Village all the way through and then seeing the ending, and I went, wow. I'm really never going to get those hours back, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those
You get
situations.
a little angry.
So, no, I'm glad that this is, I'm now realizing where our synergy comes from. That we agree on the really important
We're channeling
things
the same
in life, like how the Village and Signs both suck. Anyway, back into this game, Dignitas have over a 4,000 gold lead. They have soul point, as you already pointed out. Baron is up on the map. It's only 22 minutes in, so that one's still a little bit difficult to take. Yeah. But hey, you've got 1 minute and 15 seconds, and then that soul's on the table, and you know 100 Thieves don't want to give that away this early.
Yeah, it's such a crunch for them, too, because they're looking down the line. They're like, okay, you know, Aphelios is sitting on 2 items. They got the Hurricane here for him, but is FBI really going to be able to deal with how fed Dignitas have got themselves already. This Kayn, the Blueser, is difficult to nail down with so much mobility, as well as being able to use the ultimate to jump inside and buy time while you have other threats on the team that are looking to, kick you in deeper towards the Mega Gnar.
Yeah.
It makes it very difficult to navigate. Tahm Kench does have the Devour on ultimate ready, and Huhi hasn't gotten to really put that on display this game yet. Also hasn't really been able to display the change for W being a basic ability and trying to use it to set up for jungle or set up for any plays. So they're still waiting, Flowers.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see him use it for a good trade back at level 2 or 3 in lane, but that's about it so far. That doesn't really define the game. Akaadian does have his Muramana completed. That just evolved about 30 seconds ago, so big damage boost here for the Kayn in the team fights now. They're collapsing, but they're collapsing onto a Kayn who can just run through the wall, so Akaadian will not be caught out here. 100 Thieves are ready to answer. This should be a pretty big fight. Closer going for a little bit of damage onto Yusui, will not find it. Dignitas already have the Drake aggroed up on them. Yusui jumping back over the wall. Akaadian is here as well. Neo's going to do everything he can to land as much damage as possible before this fight really breaks out. Ssumday below half HP, though. Mundo's looking pretty vulnerable right about now.
Yeah, also don't make Mundos like they used to. Getting chunked out here by
back in my day.
Ziggs is really well situated to deal with it because, Neo rushed the Leandries. You get so much bonus damage on high health targets. Here we go, though.
All right, Closer's the target. They're not going to find the Mega Gnar to kill him thanks to the stasis. He goes back into the pit, looking to outplay, looking to find some chance to get away from this one, but Akaadian's able to take him down, going after the Mountain Soul now. Yasui's about to die. Neo will be the second if he's not careful. Ssumday keeps up the chase, and they've already picked up 2. Dignitas want to disengage now. It is a 1 for 2. They lose an extra man, but they take the Mountain Soul.
They've woken up, Captain Flowers. Ssumday was like, yeah, fine, hook me out. They're not done yet, Aphelios.
Talking about hook me out, man. FBI's the target, but he stays alive thanks to the Immortal Shield Bow. Akaadian goes right back in, and FBI goes right back down. Akaadian's out of danger, and Huhi's going to be your next target. Aphromoo in the front line with Abbedage going in for the aggro, but Akaadian's got the double kill. Akaadian's got the triple kill. It's Akaadian time, baby. The Kayn is ready to bring it here on Summoner's Rift. A quadra kill for the Dignitas jungler.
All these peasants telling me Blueser is overrated. No way! Akaadian's going to smurf on him now. That is going to be Dignitas inside the base, Flowers, for a second. You think 100 Thieves are walking back into this one, but Dignitas, they slam that sucker closed.
And the BM stasis, they'll just blast Closer right back into the spawn platform. They've got the minion wave. They don't have a Baron. They don't need it. Dignitas made this look easy, beating 100 Thieves into the ground.
They saw the script of the first 2 games with those crazy turnarounds and said, it's not happening to us.
Nope. That was an awesome showing with the Kayn pick. The evolution wasn't necessarily super fast either. It felt like, 16, 17 minutes by the time that he got evolved. But then once he did, it felt great. He was able to navigate the fights well, both before and after. And then just having that pop-off moment at the end, the quadra kill, the re-engage, knowing his limits there for Akaadian, super cool to see.
And as well, it just felt so controlled for Dignitas for this entire game. While he wasn't getting a lot of orbs early, it was very effective when he did. Both the visits towards mid lane, burning the flash first, and then he repeats ganks. And right before the flash comes up, by the way, it was only maybe 4 seconds away from having Lucian's flash available. Yusui goes in, ward hop, kick flash, and they convert on the kill. They get the extra orb cash in. They've been getting every single neutral objective. Only one little blip on the radar there towards the last dragon fight. But clutches it in the end. Akaadian sees the angle. He flashes back in to finish off FBI. That's the turning moment where their 3-person squad change from trying to retreat to, hey, we just won the game.
Yeah, let's take a head. I believe we have a replay here. So let's go ahead and take another heads-up look at this one.
Ssumday with teleport in. He flanks in behind the team. So I was watching this. I felt bad for Yusui because you see on the bottom right side, if you're not watching the flank, he actually got a perfect kick flash again onto Abbedage, but nobody was there. There was no damage. So they were all running from Mundo. Ssumday created so much space for them. Abbeddage just dashes right back out, and they turn and get the kill on the Lucian instead. And so it turned it around. But this walk back into the dangerous area does open up FBI to the hook. It's here, though, where Akaadian gets chunked down, and he says, you know what? There's only one way out of this. I'm flashing in for the kill. He barely lives. Ease through the wall to get the heal here. Then he can turn in for the extra double kill with his Muramana. It does so much damage. Finishes off the second one, and that means Dignitas are going to be inside the base. Valiant effort there in the end for Ssumday, for 100 Thieves. You know, teleports back in after getting chunked out and was able to open up a pathway for them, but not as nice as the pathway for Dig or straight down mid.
And I want to praise Dignitas, but I'm also going to criticize 100 Thieves here. Closer in that bottom side river, no reason the first time loses his flash, no reason the second time dies. Dignitas being able to catch them out in their own jungle, Closer trying to re-engage, their bottom lane not being in the right spot, they all die there again. Then in that final walk-off, the fact that FBI and Huhi are walking through there and then they get caught there again, just a lot of mistakes from 100 Thieves and not a good look for a team that's been at the top of the table. So I'm going to criticize them and praise Dig at the same time. Dig had an awesome game, and congratulations to them for taking down the Thieves. We're heading to another break, but afterwards, Aphromoo is joining the State Farm